Welcome back to the channel. Today we're in Sandbach at St Michael's Evangelist Church and graveyard, and it's just the right time to see all the beautiful daffodils. This church with a massive spire. If you go onto the main Congleton road, you can see this spire for miles away. And it's another one that's normally very well kept, almost as good as Odlum. It's down a small country lane, which is the only problem. If you meet a car coming the other way, you've got problems. We've got a nice opening. A lot of the stone came apparently from Mow Cop, which is not far away. There is a memorial to the fallen, but sadly you can't really read it. And this walkway to the graveyard is, again, this time of year, quite magnificent. If we don't break our necks. So it's interesting to see these little, what do they call them, gargoyles? All sorts of interesting little pictures. We've got the mostly modern graveyard before we get to the older ones. It's just sort of 1930s, 1933. Fair old one there. Can't quite read that. Two here that have just fell apart. There's an interesting one there. Somebody of Brighton died at the age of 36. There's a big spike next to it for some reason. Another oldish one there. And we come on to the older ones. 1914, age 15. Another one 17 years. Usually the 1800s we get these young crowns, but this one goes back to 1896, so it's a 1 year old. And another one 20 years old. 1963, an 86-year-old. (1896). Some fairly old graves. Another one 6 years. That's 1800s. That's expected at that time. But, there was a lot of deaths in the 1800s. 1881. 1900s. Another one 1882, 14-year-old. Must be a family grave because there's a lot of names on that. Bostock. 1881 again. Another 1800s, we see a 4-month-old baby. So many young babies died at the 1800s. There's an old one. Quite big writing that. Another 8 months. You can see the countryside around this church. You can see the grass is well mown, unlike a lot of churches. A few more old ones at this 1900s, 1886. '14, 1870. There's a big one there. I don't quite know what's happened to that because those normally survive, but there's something obviously missing off the top. And that's 1917. Some more of these little gargoyles. Nice little place of remembrance and take some rest. As you start to get onto the older ones, there's one there we can't read. That's 1876. '12, 18-year-old, a lot on this one. 60-year-old, 1880, 25-year-old. It's a bit of a strange one because the top writing is very good and everything else you can't see. 1895, 80-year-old. Another fallen one there that's fell over. "77 years, nice little two angels. Their beloved children died in infancy." Because that's sort of interesting, you'd suggest that that's two angels come to collect the soul. Normally that's sort of quite a tragic death, so they've not passed to heaven. The angels have had to come and pick them up. Another old one. '1902. That's one that we take a deep dive. Again, you can have a look at the countryside. A bit difficult to film some of these because it's steep bank. 1857. You can see how everything sort of goes downhill. Well, you can see it's a lovely little church. The grass is well kept. We've got plenty of flowers, plenty of daffs. Just it's at the right time to see all the daffs. Some of these old ones you can't quite read. There's tons of wildlife around. I don't know whether they quite see over there, but there's a field full of crows or something. (1923). That one's not readable. Cross on the top, you can't read that. 1896, I think it is. They've obviously had a clean up here because they've cut all the branches of the tree back. That one's totally unreadable. Died 1888. Well, this has got a rack as an interesting one, because that's a fair old piece of stone. Died 1865, age, can't make that out. Also a daughter. That is some grave, that is. A stones weigh a ton. The one next to it with no inscription. Another one from Sandbach, 1891. 3 lying down, which is always the best bet because these seem to survive everything. (1790), that one. It's a bit different triangle at the bottom there. Another good bit of stone there. Another row. Some of these are that old you can't read them. That's a nice urn. Late 1915, 1898, so that must be a family grave because they're all Jacksons. So the wife died in 1898. And Richard didn't die till 1915, so had a good innings. Fairly modern ones stuck in there. John Driver, 1884. proper sad one because they both died. One's died 29th of December 1884 and the other one's November 1884, so a couple passed not long after each other. It's a good one there. Bradwell 1886, that's well preserved. We've got a fair old tree here, and it looks as though the tree's probably been planted when that person's died. I don't think they can even can sort of make out Emily. Obviously the tree's winning the battle. And there is something else there as well. So it's a fair old blacker tree. Turner family. One from Macclesfield, 1876. (1896) one here, 1862. That probably once was a nice one, but it's now, the cross has actually fell. Another 1836. That one's a bit different, isn't it? I don't quite know what that's supposed to represent, so we've got two, presumably angels. One's very sad and holding a ring. I'm not quite sure what that's supposed to represent. So we've got all this bank with no graves, so whether there have been graves there in the past. There's one there, the fair old whacker stone. And that's another one. That is one piece of stone there. 1863. And that's a 16-year-old, 1867. Well, that's a fair old whacker stone. Now this must be, I'm just trying to read this because it's a fair old tomb and it's oldie worldy writing. County of Stafford, husband of Jack, 1877, age of 81 years. That's a fair old tombstone, that one. Something around the other side. Jane Douglas of Joseph and some locket of sand and staff, 1863. Couple more. Again, we can just have a spin round. See, the entrance is so nice there. All this unused land. I wonder if originally that was a graveyard. If we get up to see the spire. It is actually massive, you can see it for miles away. the other side, I think most of this is all sort of fairly modern graves. Again, nicely mown. Just trying to see if there's anything exciting or not. What I've not actually seen is the war grave. There's war graves here, which can be confusing because sometimes you can have your own personal grave which doesn't look like a war grave, but it is a war grave.